Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, good to be back with you here. It is a Wednesday in Southern California from 5 to 6. We're on the air live, on the air everywhere, from the community to the world on www.thepowerofvoices.com. Good to have you along with us Monday through Friday here every day of the week. Thanking Lee for introducing the show for us. What a great voice he has. And, of course, you can check him out every day from Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 to 12. He and his cast of characters, and they are a cast of characters. They banned me from the show for a little while. I got in trouble, so I can't come on the air with them, and I'm in timeout. That's what I am. I'm in timeout, but that's okay. This is my show, and I'm on the air, and we're ready to have some fun to make some money. It's Money Wednesday. It's Real Estate Wednesday here in Southern California on the Jesse T Show. The weather is fine. The Pacific Coast is beautiful. The oceans are clear. The skies are blue. And you and I are together talking about money. Everybody likes to talk about money. Do you like to talk about money? I certainly like to talk about money. I don't have enough money. I don't think you have enough money. So let's make some money together. That's what we're going to do. So we got a lot to cover here. Real Estate Wednesday here in Southern California, talking about real estate loans, finance, business, economics, and some of the trends and some of the cool things. We're going to be talking a little bit about Warren Buffett and what he did today. Got some jobs, too. I always got jobs on Wednesday for you because I do want to get you employed. I do want you to make even more money than you're making right now, because the more money you make, that means you're going to come back to me, Jesse Terrero, Jesse Mr. Soul Terrero, your trusted real estate advisor and loan specialist for almost 40 years here in Southern California. 818-805-4400 is my number to my office. Please give us a call. I'd love to help you buy a piece of property, sell a piece of property, refi, do a loan, developments, anything that you need to do, commercial, residential, income producing, business opportunities. I've done it all over the decades of being in the real estate business, and that's 818-805-4400, and you can leave your name, number, address, and all the things that you want to know, and I'll hook up back with you there. Okay, good. Now, a little bit later on, we're going to be opening up the phones right here at 424-227-9461, and we want you to participate in that at 424-227-9461 with a real estate question that you may have, and I'd love to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer, and I will get it to you at winwinwininc@yahoo.com. That's our email, winwinwininc@yahoo.com. That's not I-N-K, that's I-N-C. Also, please, let's take care of some business right now. Download our free app for Apple and Android. And you can get that app to get you in all the shows here at thepowerofvoices.com. Check us out on the website at www.thepowerofvoices.com. That's our entrance hub to the global radio network of thepowerofvoices.com. Oh, yeah. Hundreds of thousands of listeners listening to us every single month, and we're proud to be having you join us, and we enjoy your company, enjoy your thoughts, and enjoy you. And, of course, we do want you to participate all the time with us. And also, can't forget about www.aventertainmentlive.com. That is the entrance hub, or one of them, to AV TV Live and the Entertainment Channel and our digital broadcasting TV network that you can see right now on Instagram Live. And also on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero and Facebook.com/The Power of Voices. Also, Ustream, Upeak. Yes, can't forget about those guys. And Livestream and Periscope. And also YouTube Live, The Power of Voices. I told you, man, we got you covered, and a whole bunch of others. But those are the big boys and the big girls. So we're in the big time on ABTV Live and our digital broadcasting TV network. Hey, don't want to forget to tell you that on February 26th, We're going to be broadcasting live out at the Night of 100 Stars. I'm promoting that pretty heavily. It is the biggest viewing party for Oscar night, February 26th, and we want you to be there and check it out because we're going to be there for you broadcasting live on our TV broadcasting network, and we're setting up some feeds for our radio broadcasting network as well. So we're talking about discussions here. We're going to have the whole thing covered there for you. That's right, boss. We're going to have the whole thing going to be covered there for you. Yes, right. Yes, I'm going to be on the red carpet doing the things that I do. Hey, I can't help but being me, Jesse T, talking to all of my friends and some new friends too. And woo, baby, there are some beautiful women that come walking down that red carpet, man. It is much better than the yellow brick road. Yeah. So we want you to be out there. It's a lot of fun. All the great stars, the A-listers from all around Hollywood are going to be checking in there. New York, too. And it's a good time. And they're there watching the Oscar presentation because if you aren't winning an award from the Academy or you're not presenting, you don't go to the Oscars. You just don't show up because that whole bottom floor that you see when they shoot the camera out there, those are all people that are participating in that presentation and that award. Husbands and wives and girlfriends and boyfriends, etc. and whatnot. Directors and producers and all that stuff. That goes out to all of them. So most of the stars go to the Norby Waters Night of 100 Stars, and that's sponsored by Peter Nygaard, put on by the great PR man. He covers all the media, Ed Losey, and the tickets, I believe, are $1,000 a ticket. But check it out now. You get a 4-course meal, an unlimited bar. Richard Lewis is going to be the host of ceremonies there, and Joe Montagna is going to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. And so it's going to be a good time, and we want you to be there. Check it out. Yes, you could be hobnobbing and talking and drinking and having a party with your favorite movie stars because they seat you right with them, right next to them. So it's a event of events of a lifetime. So we want you to check that out. On Thursday at 8:30, we're going to be out at the Chinese. I'm just doing some business right here. Thursday at 8:30, we're going to be out at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. Hollywood. Yeah, we're going to be out there because our very own ABTV Live, Dan the Man. He's going to be walking down the red carpet. You didn't know Dan the Man was an actor. Yes, he is. And he's got a role in a movie called The Bronx Bull, all about Jake LaMotta. It's a great movie, a Martin Gigi film. We're going to get Martin in here to talk about his film and also all the other great things he does, music, and he does a lot of cool stuff. We can talk about his adventures in Cuba with Billy Gibbons of the ZZ Tops when they were one of the first acts to go into Cuba when Cuba opened up last year. So, but Martin Gigi directed this film. It's called The Bronx Bull. It's about Jake LaMotta, the true story, one of the greatest fighters of all time. And Jake LaMotta is still alive. I think he's in his mid-90s now, and he just might be out there if he's well. So I might be able to get an interview with Jake LaMotta. Can you imagine? How cool would that? Dan the Man is walking down the red carpet, sure to bring some fine lassies on his left and his right. Dan the Man's going to be there, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We want you to support that. We'll be out at the Chinese. We'll be broadcasting that live in the nighttime on ABTV Live and our, of course, digital broadcasting TV network. All right, so now we got some business out of the way, and you know what's happening, and you know where we're going. Let's talk some real estate right now. How you doing with your real estate preparations? Are you doing okay? Have you bought a house yet? Are you looking to buy a house? Have you sold a property to buy up? Well, right now is the time to do both. Buying a house is real important because you do it in the beginning of the year. You get 12 months of interest write-offs, and that reduces your income and reduces your tax burden because the President Trump's tax plan has not been initiated yet. As soon as it is, it really won't take into effect until 2018 anyway because we're still living off the Obama presidency and the things that he put in place. What a lot of folks may not understand is that not until about October, November, will Congress and the Senate be presented with the budget and the plan for our country through the Donald Trump presidency in its entirety and fullness. And that's when the things will start kicking in. But up until that time, we're still working off the last president and what he put in place in his last year. So that's kind of how that works. But the tax advantages aren't going to be in there yet this year, probably 2018. They just can't be. I mean, that's just the way it is. It can't be in there. And so we're still dealing with the same kind of tax situation in terms of the amount of money you're going to pay the state of California and also the beautiful For those of you living in California, you know the IRS is easy compared to the California Fair State Tax Franchise Board. Boy, oh boy, now that one, they're like little Nazis, man. Woo! They're tough. Hold on, I got to take a drink of water. So, it's a good time to buy some real estate because you get all those interest write-offs, and that's a good time to do it in the beginning of the year. Now, it's also a good time to sell something because interest rates are still relatively low. That's right. I've seen them as low as 3.85, and I've seen them as high as about 4.75. So they're still under 5, and that's a good rate, man. I'm telling you, that's a real good rate. You want to get in there before the prices jump. Saying hi to Richard E. Short. You can tell it's getting better. I have worked 2 jobs in a week. I've not seen it this good since the 1980s. All right, Richard. See, this is what it's all about. The Donald Trump plan is putting men and women back to work in this country. And businesses are starting to apply the positivity of future profits and hiring more people. And as the tax incentives get dropped down for businesses, small, medium, and large, down to 15, 17% or so whenever they engage that and get that out there, they're going to be hiring more people because they can reinvest that money into good employees like Richard Short. You know, he says he's got more work now than he's had since the 1980s. He got 2 jobs in a week. All right, Richard, congratulations. That's fantastic, man. Keep up the good work. Pass the word because it's all about making money. Making money for your honey. Michelle DeBois is on. Thanks on Michelle on our Facebook live feed, facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. Instagram, where are you at, guys? Start chiming in right now. Love to have you along with us. So, applying online is something that a lot of people do now. They don't really go down to their bank to get a home loan. They kind of do it online. And it's just so much easier for folks than to take the time out and go sit with the banker and all that stuff. But I still believe in that one-on-one spirit, though it's hard to find these days because bankers and loan agents and loan brokers really don't want to spend the time to do that. They just kind of do everything online and you DocuSign and all that stuff. And that's kind of the way of the land now. That's kind of how it works. But, it's fun to be able to go do that in person. So, you might want to always double check though just words of advice when you do fill out these papers online. Make sure that it's an encrypted site on the other side and your site is encrypted because you don't want anybody breaking in. Because when you fill out those loan applications and you start supporting that paperwork with your bank statements and all that stuff, well, that stuff goes over the internet. And you want to make sure no one interferes or captures that in between from here to there. So make sure the line on the other end is encrypted, the receiver, and make sure the line on your end is encrypted, that your side is, okay? So that's just some caution and words to the wise about doing stuff online in terms of that. All right, so let's kind of check out. There's a couple things that I wanted to talk about here in terms of what's happening in our industry. One of the things that seems to be happening is that more owner-occupied homes are becoming rentals. So kind of what's going on there is that, let me see if I can get this out of the way. There's something let's see, how do I get rid of this here? Let's see, let's do that there. And let's bring that up here because I want to get to this whole article for you because it's really interesting what's happening here. I'm going to tell you some of the pitfalls of becoming a rental owner. Oh my goodness. Jesse T got stung by the bee. I just had to sign over $4,000 to get my tenant out that he's been living in my property for free for a year. And he caused me so much grief. And I just had to sign a stipulation so I don't have to go to court tomorrow to get my tenant out. And part of that stipulation is I had to pay him $4,000. And, he lived in the apartment for about a year for free. So, that's something that you really got to be careful about in the state of California. We have a rental problem in the city of Los Angeles and the county, and that is there's not enough properties for rent for those that want to rent. There is a overabundance of people that can't find a place to live, and that's causing rental values to go up tremendously. I've seen them rise in the last 5 to 7 years in terms of what you're going to pay per month to rent property. It's pretty amazing that some of even the neighborhoods that aren't the most well-kept neighborhoods, some of the very neighborhoods that have a lot of challenges, you're going to spend a minimum of $1,500, $1,800 a month just to rent something even in an area that you probably would never want to live in. So one of the things about rental property when you are a landlord or owner is that you got to be very cautious on who you rent to. Now, how do you pick the right person? The clue is up to you, because I certainly in the last couple of years have not had the opportunity to pick the right people at all. And let me tell you, I pull a credit report, I pull a job, I go talk to the employer, I pull past records, public records, I find out where they lived and find out the real owner of the property, get some indication there, go hang out in front of the apartment or house that they live in and watch them live. See what kind of people come over their house. Check out whether their car is registered or is not registered. What kind of stuff do they have the DMV on public record? I check them out in every which way I can, and still yet you get bit by those tenants that seem to know the laws better than the owners or landlords. And if you decide you want to go to an attorney, it costs an awful lot of money in order to do that. So one of the things that you got to do is screen. But how do you screen those that are really good at being screened? It's really difficult. At some point, you got to throw the risk to the wind and take the chance, and you do the best you can with it and hope you don't get bit. You can't write anything in a contract in the state of California that says, well, if you don't pay your rent, you got to move out, or if you wreck the property, you got to fix it, or anything like that. You start doing that kind of stuff, and you're just opening yourself up for litigation problems later on when they stop paying your rent, because a lot of that stuff is illegal in the state of California. They will not allow you to put that in your rental agreements. You can't go take the doors off, turn the water off, turn the electricity off. You can't go throw cockroaches in their house, or rats, or dead possums. You can't do any kind of intimidation. That's a criminal offense, and they will call the sheriffs or the police on you, and you'll go to jail. So then you'll be in trouble there. There's really not much you can do except go a 3-day notice to pay or quit, then a 30 or 60-day notice, depending on how long they've been in the property. 30 days if they've been in the property less than a year, 60 days if they've been in the property more than a year, and then file a UD. Then they find an attorney to take you to a jury trial, and cost you $25,000 at the jury trial 6 to 8 months later, plus lost rent and the headache of having them in there, and you end up capitulating like I did today, and my jury trial's tomorrow. And I'm the plaintiff and they're the defendant. And I capitulated today and gave the guy $4,000. So, $4,000 versus 20 kind of mathematically works out that way, but he got me for $12,000 in unpaid rent. So actually it was $16,000 versus 20 and possible litigation of losing. And then I have to start all over to get him out. So, what do? You take the jab in the face or the hook to the head? What do? Either way, you got to take the hit. So you got to be real careful. My suggestion that you don't buy rental property in the state of California. Now, that's kind of an oxymoron, because it says, well, I'm not going to make any money. Well, I'll tell you, I'd rather have you not have the headache than deal with the problems. Unless you've got a fat budget and you can control 2 mortgage payments and all that problem, your house payment and the payment of the property that you're buying, that you're renting out. Now, if you can do that, then Godspeed to you, okay? But normally most folks can't. And so it's very difficult. So I would suggest if you buy any kind of units, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units, you buy them out of California, Arizona, Nevada, Texas. You'll get them out in 10 days to 2 weeks. The sheriff will lock them out. Different laws, different state. But here in California, our liberal left-wing agenda has just destroyed it for all the hardworking citizens here in America, or in California, that work very hard and sacrifice and deny themselves to increase their real estate holdings and create some sort of longevity and legacy for their children and their family when they go. It just doesn't work out that way anymore when you buy rental property. Now, if you're buying your house, gosh, of course, because that's your house. But If you can buy rental property like 10, 15, 20 units, or you can put 50% down on whatever you do buy, then your mortgage payment will be low enough and you could probably absorb the problem. But, legal fees really get up. And we're starting to see more of these free legal services, very inexpensive legal services for tenants' rights. Hey, the idea is that, slumlords and bad people like that, but, most people aren't slumlords. Most people are just trying to keep their properties up, rent them out at a good, fair value, pay the mortgage payment, and keep going. But it doesn't work out that way all the time. And more now here in California, the sad story of what I just said is what's happening more and more often to people. So anybody that usually comes to me and says, I want to buy a fourplex, I say, why? Really? That's what I say. I don't say, oh, okay, I'll sell it to you. No, because, I can't. I got to tell them the downfalls. You don't have to, but I don't know. It's a moral thing. It's a disclosure thing. I should tell them. Once I tell them the downfalls and the worst case scenario, if they still want to buy, hey, right on. Then we're going to go looking, and they understand, and it's their decision to do that. But I try to tell folks no, or put a lot of money down. Why don't you buy a small commercial unit, like maybe 5,000 square feet or 4,000 square foot commercial unit, and put something there. Put your money into that. Struggle to buy that. It might be more expensive, but you have rights that when you buy single-family residence or multiple residents, they have more rights than you in the state of California. So when it comes to rental property, we have a rental problem because there's not enough properties out there to rent. So the city of Los Angeles has got this whimsical idea that they're going to create low-income housing. Oh, isn't that great? That's like just saying on that corner we're going to create a slum. That's all. I've been up in front of city council arguing that. Oh, okay. So what neighborhood do you guys want to destroy today? But over the last 10 years, especially the last 5, man, it has gotten worse. Just like the traffic in LA has gotten worse in the last 10 years. It's just awful. So you got to be very cautious in that arena. And I just wanted to share that with you because now that problem is over with. But yet I got 2 more problems in the same complex. It's my problem child complex. It's the black sheep of the family of all the different portfolio and properties that I have. It's the black sheep, and it's got another problem. So I'm dealing with those 2. I got 2 of the problems solved. Now I've got 1 more problem to solve, and I'll be free. Free to do what? Re-rent to a bunch of knuckleheads again? Yeah, guess so. Hopefully it'll work out a little bit better. All right, so when you start talking about that kind of stuff in the real estate world, you got to be very cautious in what you do. You got to buy right, you got to think about what you're doing, and you got to make sure you can afford that second property. All right, so that's the key. Can you afford the second property that you want to buy? Do you have the ability to absorb the negative when the negative happens? Because the negative will happen to you at some point. It just does with everybody. Do you know how to clear the apps on the iPad? Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, well, how do I start investing? How do I start getting involved in the stock market? Now, I'm not a stock market broker. I'm not a stockbroker. I've dabbled in the stock market. I've got some holdings. I've got some things in the stock market. But it's not something that I am a professional expert at. But I will tell you this. If you want to know where the money is, you got to follow the guys that have the money. And you got to do what they're doing. Because they're doing what they're doing because they got the money and they know something that you don't know. So I tend to follow guys like Warren Buffett. Now, Warren Buffett did something today that was pretty phenomenal. In fact, it kind of rocked the world of investment this morning. Last night, Warren Buffett was a big player in Walmart. Now, this is a societal change. Warren Buffett was a huge player in Walmart. In fact, one of their biggest stockholders. This morning, he divested himself of $900 million worth of stock in Walmart. $900 million of stock he divested himself in Walmart. Now, is that a mind boggler or what? I mean, we're talking a major player in Walmart. This guy was like one of their main guys. And the reason why he did that is because of the advent of Amazon. Amazon, of course, number 1, and eBay. Amazon and eBay, but specifically Amazon. Amazon, and he's a major player in Amazon too. Warren Buffett owns stock in Amazon, but he divested himself of the brick and mortar. So that is unbelievable. And he bought Monsanto, he bought Apple. He became a huge player in Apple, huge player this morning. He bought hundreds of millions of dollars of shares of Apple. Monsanto, he bought Southwest Airlines. That's what he bought today. He got rid of John Deere, and he got rid of almost all his Walmart. He also bought into Delta, United Continental, and American. So those are the things that Warren Buffett bought today in. So pretty interesting that he divested himself of that kind of real estate. Because essentially what he said by getting rid of his stock, he says that the brick and mortar real estate is over with. It's done. When a player like that moves out, that's a signal. And so you've got to think twice about that. So when you're buying commercial, there's something really important to understand here. If you buy commercial property and you're buying like a small little commercial corner or a little bit bigger commercial platform, or a huge kind of mall that has gone out of business around the country, because a lot of those indoor malls are ghost towns now. So if you're buying that, then you have to really, really look at the brick and mortar, the anchor store, and ask yourself, is that anchor store really being affected by the new way that commercial purchases that the citizens are spending their money at? And Amazon and places like eBay are starting to really replace everything. You can have food delivered in Amazon now. Robots, flying drones will deliver it. They'll get stuff there to you in 2 hours sometimes. Amazon is making a big play in the fashion world. That was all true old-fashioned brick and mortar. Groceries and fashion were brick and mortar. I mean, how could you not try a pair of shoes on? But that's the way the new generation is buying. And that's where the money and the consumer is being spent. So when you start looking at commercial real estate and you start saying, okay, well, there's an anchor there. There's a Walmart. You got to ask yourself, okay, how long is that lease for? And you want to get a copy of that lease, because probably Walmart does not own that piece of commercial real estate. They don't. They lease. Okay, so what you want to do when you buy, you want to get a copy of that anchor's lease. And if you don't understand it, you got to take it to an attorney who can read it for you. Don't take it to a real estate broker, because these leases like that can be very complicated, filled full of a lot of legal issues. And so you want to take it to an attorney that understands the law and can put the law at it rather than put experience at it. So take it to a lawyer, let him look at that lease and tell you what that lease is about. If there's a lot of walkouts for Walmart, if there's a lot of ways that they can get out of that lease due to economics or shutdowns or whatever, you got to ask yourself, should I really buy that piece of commercial property? And also, are Walmarts going to stay open? Because when a place closes down and they do a mass closing like Sears is doing, Sears is liquidating everything. I know this in the city of Santa Monica. Sears is liquidating one of the oldest Sears stores. It's full 50% off. Hey, by the way, if you want to get some good deals, in Santa Monica, the city of Santa Monica, the Sears store there is liquidating everything at 50 to 70% off. Unbelievable stuff. So Sears, Kmart, JCPenney's, let me see, Best Buy's is going about ready to hit the bank. These stores that have these leases, they're usually long-term leases too, because when you own a piece of commercial property, you want to anchor down a strong store, brick and mortar store, because that brings everybody else in, because they bring the cars in. So remember, you want to really look at the anchor's contract when you start buying commercial real estate. That's just a clue. That'll tell you what to do. And stay attuned as to what people like Warren Buffett are doing. Because if they're getting rid of their brick and mortar investments, that's got to tell you something. And when you start buying commercial, it's expensive. And also, if it's not being rented or leased out, you don't want to lose that property in foreclosure. That's for sure. It's going to be hard to get another anchor store. All right, so that's the key. Groceries are still there. That's good anchor stores. Amazon hasn't replaced it yet. So just be cautious in that arena. Now, if you buy a commercial property and you don't have any major anchor stores, you might want to look at ones that have Starbucks or Coffee Bean, something like that. That's an anchor in that store. Anything that brings the cars in. If you buy a commercial building that has no anchor and it just has mom and pop's stores, a menagerie of different stores, that kind of property, You have to be very, very, that's a speculative way to go because you're going to have a lot of tenants come in and out. You're going to have a lot of vacancies, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Though you don't get hit by the same laws and rules in the state of California when you start dealing in commercial leases. You can get them out pretty good. 30 days, they don't pay it. You can lock them down and sell their stuff. So there is a little bit of different of a play there. But just some words there on commercial real estate in reference to what Warren Buffett did today. Major player moves out of brick and mortar Walmart into Apple, into other things that folks are using now to buy and purchase and transfer products, goods, and services. Another thing that I think is affecting real estate, of course, is the outlook of the attitude of people. And I have seen in the last 3-4 months, people's attitude are changing. Interest rates are still pretty much holding, and prices have flattened just a little bit, but they're about ready to explode here in Southern California. They're going to jump. Shannon Carr is on with us. Thanks a lot, Shannon, for checking in. They're about ready to jump. So if you want to get in on some of that, you want to get on some of that right now. The flipping is not as much here in California, but one thing that's coming about is these REITs, REITs or RETs or REITs, they call them. REIT, Real Estate Investment Groups. And what you do is you pool your money, you throw your money into a company, sort of like the old LLC, the old General Limited Partnership of the 1970s. And you throw your money in with a pool, your money with a whole bunch of other folks, and you earn a dividend just like a stock payoff. And that dividend creates income for you every month, every quarter, every year, however they decide to pay it. And you buy a bunch of commercial real estate, and you can pool your resources to do that. That's a very popular way of doing things today. I guess so. I don't know. Maybe if you already have some real estate property and commercial property or residentials or something like that, that's something you can add into as a value bonus for your portfolio. But the thought of just pooling my money into other people and letting somebody control it, that just is kind of a scary situation, especially when that's the money I've worked really hard for and saved. I think I would rather just maybe go out in the outskirts of a community and buy something less expensive and deal with that problem. But the one thing about those REITs is that you don't have the legal headaches. They absorb all that cost. They absorb the maintenance costs. They absorb that. They take it off the top, of course, but you don't have to deal with the day-to-day stuff. You just get a dividend check. So that's kind of cool for a lot of people to do. These reverse annuity mortgages, or RAMs, very popular among senior citizens today, growing very fast. And it makes sense for the baby boom generation that's aging really quickly, and all one large group aging all at once. A lot of the only investment that they have left is their real estate if they paid it off and it's pretty much free and clear with a big equity position. It's a good thing to think about. You can take that money, take it out, don't have to pay it back. It gets appraised at a certain value. You can max it out, take it out, and do whatever you want with it. You can live on it, vacate on it, have some good times, pay off your bills, maybe invest in another piece of real estate, give your kids some, give your grandkids some, whatever you want to do, pay for medical bills, whatever it is. And a lot of seniors are doing that. Remember, though, when the senior or aged person passes away, what happens is when the senior or aged person passes away, what happens is that money has to be paid back to the bank. Okay, so on those reverse mortgages, like you see Tom Selleck doing on the commercials now and other older iconic stars, TV and film stars, that money has to be paid back. And how it's paid back is the estate has to be sold, or the estate, the heirs that get the estate have to start making a mortgage payment or pay it back all at once. That's all written in the paperwork and the note, but it has to be paid back. And if it isn't, they end up foreclosing on the property. So what most folks do is they sell the property, care about equity. It's a collateral-based equity loan based on that, and you can max it out. You don't have to pay a red cent back, period, end quote. Unless, of course, you decide to move. Then you got to pay it off, but you'll sell the house and pay that loan off anyway. And that's the cool thing about it. So, but remember, contact your tax person, because depending on the tax bracket you're in and such like that, you want to make sure you get that information because you don't want any surprises on the other end. Shannon Carr says, sounds like your specialty, Jesse. My specialty is a lot of things. But it's Real Estate Wednesday. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate that. Too advanced for me. She says, have a good night. Well, you have a good night, too. But always remember, I can help you out in any way we can when we talk about real estate and loans and business and finance and economics. That's what we talk about. A little bit later on, we're going to get you guys a job. That's what we're going to do. We got some good job information coming up here that we're going to be checking out here in just a few minutes. And thanks, Lee. Yeah, I guess when we got rid of all those open pages, it works now. Well, is that how that works? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, my memory sometimes needs to be cleaned up. Believe you me, the memory of Jesse T needs to be cleaned up every now and then. That's for sure. Hey, did you see that thing on the internet the other day that happened here in California? Since we were talking about land and stuff, the Orville Dam. Did you see some of the damage that thing that created, that big hole in the ground there? That's a huge hole. And they had almost 8 years to repair that hole. They knew of it in 2004. So actually 12 years, 15 years to repair that hole, and they didn't do anything with it. That's one of the beefs I have with the state of California and the Franchise Tax Board, is they collect all this money from us, and they're pretty hardcore, the Franchise Tax Board. They'll come at you, not like the IRS. But they come at you, and then, what happens with the money? Where does that money go? Isn't that money supposed to be going to increasing and fixing our infrastructure? I mean, we're driving down the freeway hitting potholes and beat up streets. It's crazy. It's just crazy where all that money went. I mean, it's unbelievable that they can't earmark some of that money to fix things. It's just a pet peeve. I'm on the road so much, driving the miles with the smiles, that I'm always, wondering, oh my goodness, look at this road. They're wrecking it. They're trying to fix it, but they're actually wrecking it. It's just one of the things that drive me absolutely insane. You got bum credit? Here's something good for you to know. Your bum credit can still buy you a house. Yeah. And you can get these collections off your credit. There's a lot of systems out there now that allow you, the consumer, with the new credit laws that came into effect after the 2008 subprime blowup, that allow the consumer a lot more ability to fix their credit a lot faster. And that was one of the frustrating things, is when you get your credit being dinged up, it takes so long to fix it. But right now, even if you have like a foreclosure, you can still get a piece of real estate sometimes 1 or 2 or 3 days after your foreclosure is over with. Now, you got to pay a little bit more money for it, but that can reestablish that credit real quick. Now, if you lose a piece of real estate under an FHA or a VA mortgage, in other words, you were a veteran that bought it and you used your VA or your GI Bill, so to speak, or an FHA loan, you've got to wait a couple of years after that foreclosure's over with to be able to get some credit from FHA or the VA. But there are creditors out there that aren't connected that way. So keep your eye out on that. There's a lot of ways that you can help yourself without paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to have somebody else do it. The newest credit scoring models are called FICO 9. And that's the latest version. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know about when talk about credit solutions. It's real important, too, because credit really affects your ability to buy a loan and then to buy real estate, right? So this FICO 9 is something new. It's really new this year. It kind of developed last year, but they're engaging it more and more. FICO 9 is the latest version of Vantage Score. It's called Vantage Score. It ignores collection accounts with a zero balance when calculating credit scores. Now, that's important because if you had a collection account that you paid off, they charged off on you, that went against your collection. Or even if you paid it off and it was in collection before and you paid it off in full and balance, that was a negative on your FICO score, even though you paid it off. Or even if they charged it off, it was more of a negative. In fact, if you charge it off, they're going to make you pay it off before they give you a loan. But if you paid it off and it was in collection before, that still affects your FICO score. So this advantage situation is a little different. It's called FICO 9. And FICO 9 is the latest version of Vantage Score. They ignore collection accounts with a zero balance when calculating credit scores. Now, most lenders are using older credit scoring models. Like everything, things advance that treat all collection accounts as negative, okay? Whether they are paid or not. That means consumers trying to get a mortgage, car loan, credit card, or auto insurance may wind up paying more because of a collection account that perhaps was resolved some time ago because your credit score was lowered and they charged you more interest rate, or in a home loan, more points and interest rate in order to get that loan. Most consumers seem to believe that paying a collection account will help improve your credit scores, and are often shocked to learn that that fact isn't true. That's absolutely right. If you pay off a collection account, it's actually going to drop your FICO score. I've been saying this for years. People don't understand that. Look, if you go buy a house, first thing I'm going to do is any property you buy, I'm going to pull a credit report. And I'm going to look at your credit report, not because I want to really know what you're all about. I don't really care what your credit report says. I want to see it. Because I want to see the areas that if I have to fix something, I want to know what I got to fix before we even go any farther. That's the way to do it. And so once I get that credit report, I say, oh, good, there's a charge off here. I know that the lender, before the close of escrow, is going to make you pay that off. You say, well, I'll go down and pay it off tomorrow. I've got $10,000 my mom let me have, or I won in the California lottery. I'm going to go pay. No, don't pay it off. What do you mean don't pay it off? Won't my credit go up? No, it's going to go down. No, what you do is you take that $10,000, you put it over here on the side, right? You give it to me and I go to Vegas and I triple it. No, seriously. What happens is you put it on the side and we find a property and we go into escrow and I make you pay that. I design the package in a way that you pay that $2,000 charge off back at the very last day or 2 or 3 of the close of escrow. Okay? I make it be a prerequisite or a condition that gets paid off before the close of escrow. Now, when we do it that way and the lender, here's the beauty of it. The lender pulls their last credit report. Every lender will pull a last credit report about 3 days before, 3 to 4 days, maybe a week out before you get the loan. Even after you signed the note, they still have a right to pull the loan. Even if they signed the note while the escrow is still open, they can still deny it. And so they'll pull that last credit report just to see if you're consistent. Now, if you have a big purchase like a new car, something like that, or you really screwed up on a credit that really hit the books at that time, they're going to deny you the loan, but they really won't. What they're going to do is they're going to charge you a lot more money. They're going to raise the rate and charge you more points, okay? So what we do, we make it as part of a condition. So when they pull the credit report, they see the same credit report. And when the money comes in from the new guy who's getting his loan to pay off your loan, part of that equity that you have there pays off that condition if you own the property, or if you don't, then you mind, okay? So a lot of folks don't know that. It's a little bitty trick like that, and it saves you. All right, so now, when Encore Capital, as an example, which owns Midland Funding, and Midland Funding is a pretty good-sized lender. They're not bad. We don't do a lot of, at least I don't do a lot, but I used to use them a lot. They're a pretty good-sized lender. They use this credit system. And so they've kind of changed the credit reporting policy in the last 12 months. Midland Funding. You want to write that down. Okay? Midland Funding, Asset Acceptance, and Atlantic Credit and Finance. Write that down, because that might be a lender when you want to get a loan to go and on their website and check them out, because they use this new FICO 9 system. All right? Another little clue. See, I'm filled full of clues on the Jesse T Show. It's Real Estate Wednesday and loans, filled full of these little clues, okay? It's the little clues that get you where you got to go. They've kind of changed their policy. Consumers who were the beneficiary of this new, more lenient policy may not have realized how fortunate they were to have these terms and these items kind of removed from their credit reports, and they're not looking at them that way, okay? So this is something that you really want to, remember. Or you can contact me, Jesse T, at 818-805-4400, because I remember it. It's just what I do. I remember it. So that's something there that can help you out. I always talk about loans as much as I talk about the real property, because if you ain't got the money, you ain't got the honey, and you aren't going to buy anything. Unless, of course, you win the California lottery. Then you can buy anything. I got a great $250 million house for sale up in Bel Air. It's the most expensive house in the United States of America. $250 million. Unbelievable. The pictures are on my website, so you might want to check that out. Hey, couple things. There's a couple of properties that came on board here in the last couple of days. Got some property for sale down there in central Los Angeles. And I don't know if you understand what's happening in central Los Angeles. The transition is completely different. Whatever you think LA was, and you're reaching back 10 or 15 or 20 years, it's not that anymore. A lot of this is there for sale, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in the 1950s. And most of the average price of the houses in these areas are running about $450 to $525. You can pick one of these houses up for $375. Right, $30 million cash. It is expensive. Yeah, Mama, it's expensive, Mama T. Mama T's checking in. Thank you. Some good sales. A couple of good jobs that are happening right now. I think some good places that you can get a job. You might want to start thinking about upgrading your job. Just like one of the that's like one of the worst things in the world to do. So you want to look for a job when you got a job, because a couple of businesses that you can do on the side. And a lot of people like this stuff because it's something that they're doing themselves. For a couple $1,000, you can invest in an idea, a dog walking service. Now, I bring this up because I was at a dog park, the other day. I ran out of gas down, and I got some gas, put it in, and gave it. So I got talking to the dog owners. Things happen to me like that. I don't know why. Probably because I didn't put any gas in my car. That's why. But, it should run anyway. Darn it. It's Jesse T. Right? Okay. So most of the people at this dog park were dog walkers for people that lived in these townhouse complexes and these buildings around that had to walk their dogs. And they were about 8 or 10 people out there in the middle of the day, and they were walking dogs. Some of them had 2 or 3 or 4 dogs, different kinds of dogs, all shapes and sizes. And that's what caught my attention. I mean, why would someone own a wiener dog and a German Shepherd? I mean, that makes no sense, right? So I got to asking, they're dog walkers. And I said, wow, that's kind of a cool idea. There was a guy in Georgia who started a dog walking business. This is no lie. This guy ended up selling his dog walking business after 5 years for $500,000. Yeah, he started with a leash and a collar. $500,000. Man, he must have been walking dogs on gold plates. Wow. It's unbelievable. So a lot of the big cities like New York and Chicago and Detroit and Los Angeles, downtown especially, is growing. Dog walking is really important, because nobody wants to go home and have poop in their house. That's kind of the worst thing in the world. And there's your pitch. Hey, my name is Jesse. I guarantee you'll have no poop in your house. I'm the poop patrol. I'm the P&P power. The P&P power. The poop and pee power for your puppy. Hey, the 4 Ps. Poop and pee power for your puppy. Right? Why not? Dog walking service. Never thought about that. Be a professional organizer. Have you ever gone to your friend's house and their closet or their garage is like a holy heck mess and you can't find nothing in there? You can't even find yourself out of there when you're in there, right? I went to my garage once. It took me a week and a half to get out. I got lost. But a professional organizer, there are people that they go in and they organize your garage. your shed, your yard. They go and organize your toolbox. They go and organize your closets. Put everything in order. Because, we kind of painting. People don't have time to paint their houses. And if you go in there and give them a really good price with the inexpensive paints that are out there today, you could do a good business, a little side business, painting houses. And that's a word of mouth thing. So you provide some really good customer service. And you can do that on the side on the weekends and make, $500, $1,000. I just paid this guy $800 to paint one of my apartments. $800. Now I got 6 apartments and I'm going to have to paint 8 times. That's $4,800 he's going to make out of me. $500, and the corner lady is $500, and sir, how about $400, $450, $450, we got a $500 over here, $450. You didn't know I could be an auctioneer, did you? Yeah. Woo, baby, the Jesse T Show. We got you covered with jobs. We got you covered with info. We got you covered with how to make money like Warren Buffett. We got you covered today. Lots of secrets inside, behind the closed door trade. It's the Real Estate Show every Monday through Friday right here on thepowerofvoices.com, 5 to 6. We're talking what you want to know to get you on the go and to have a quality life. That's what it's all about. Oh, and by the way, 818-805-4400 if you want to buy a house, sell a house, do something like that. Hey, I can help you out. 818-805-4400. You entered the world according to Torero, and now you're straight on the point. The brown beauty is off duty. See ya! 400, 400, 400, 400, 400. Got to go to 400, 425.